Welcome back to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, it's zinniawealth.com, Zinnia wealth.com. Every month, of course, has their official declarations. You know, it might be Blueberry Pie Month or Ice Cream Month or, you know, you never know. But one of the things that it is that I found out about is Dog Bite Awareness Month, okay? And this is put out by the U.S. Postal Service. So last year, the dog bite capital of the world was Houston. This year, the dog bite capital of the world is Los Angeles. Just thought you might be interested in that.
That's the most dog bites.
That's the most dog bites, okay?
Oh, my gosh.
So I'm trying to think of, maybe I'll ask Ella this. Okay, so if your mom were a dog, what kind of dog would she be?
Oh my gosh!
I think she's a big old sheepdog. That's what I think she is. She's a protector. She's a big cuddler. She's a person who takes care. I don't know if she has to bring the cask of brandy underneath her on her leash, but she is a big old sheepdog. What would you say your mom is?
That's hard.
Be honest.
Well,
we're not, everyone, we have not prepped her for this radio show at all. She's actually talking more than we planned. So let's be honest to the world. What is it?
Well, my mom, she
could go badly for me.
She's a true mama bear, so she can have her moments where, she's protective and loving and, like she can get upset, but that's okay. Every parent should. And she also has a lot of spirit in her.
Okay. She's not a little yappy chihuahua. That's not your mom.
Well, no.
So I'm more like a Rottweiler at times.
That's what I was thinking. You can be a little intense, but that's good.
Well, I think
a sheepdog and Rottweiler.
So that's where I was got to go with this is because if your mom's a sheepdog, she's got to protect people from the Rottweilers. And I think the Rottweiler out there in retirement planning is Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is ready to take a bite out of your retirement funds because so many of us have 401ks and we have IRAs and maybe you've got $1 million in there. But guess what? That's not all yours. Uncle Sam is ready to take a bite out of that at some point in your life. So, Charisse, tell me a little bit about that. People come in. Do they realize that they have a partner in their retirement? And how do we lessen the bite of Uncle Sam?
Well, people don't know the power of how bad it could be or how bad it might be in the future. They understand they got to pay taxes and everybody's like, oh, I don't really want to pay taxes. But they don't understand how big of a partnership Uncle Sam is, right? So the Rottweiler will take a bite out of your retirement. And for example, just based on today's math, if you pass away and you got $1 million, 30 to 40% of that money, that's a big bite of your retirement is going back to Uncle Sam, right? Because of how the inheritance gets passed on now in these IRAs since the new Secure Act will change how the legacy is passed on to your kiddos and your family. It's not the surviving spouse. But more than that, it's while you're in retirement, you could be healthy and alive and living with your spouse and live to 90, 95 years old and have $1 million retirement account. But that $1 million, you, by golly, want to see it grow. You, by golly, want to live on it and enjoy it and spend it on the grandkids, right? And if it grows and you're spending money, it's still growing. So your $1 million could be $2 million in 10 to 15 years. And so now you're in that RMD phase of life where you're forced to pull money out of your IRAs. That's your required minimum distribution phase of life. And so now you're having to take 4% out of $2 million. So that's, $80,000 extra that you probably don't want to pay taxes on, but you have to. And then if you live another 15 years and you live in your 90s, well, good gracious, that $2 million could double again, right? To $4 million. And now you're taking 8% out of that $4 million because the older you get, you don't take 4% out of your retirement accounts every year. That percentage goes up every year. So think about in your late 80s now. Now you're 90 years old. Let's just paint the picture. You're 90 years old. You're sitting in your chair at home with your spouse. Hopefully they're still alive. Or you're sitting with your kids or grandkids. And you have this $4 million IRA that's just done so good. And now you have to pull 8% out of that $4 million. That's $320,000, people.
Gosh.
Hello. Irma, you're paying $550 a month at least on your Medicare. Your taxes are a complete burden to you. And can you imagine being in your 80s and 90s and thinking, well, that's not how I expected it to go. And then when you pass away, 100% of it's still taxable. So I paint this picture because It's worse than we ever seen it in our entire lives because of how the Secure Act changed the tax rules for the legacy. And then the surviving spouse, that tax rule has always been there. So let's say you pass away and then there's a surviving spouse. And now your standard deduction's cut in half, potentially, depending on where taxes go here in the future. But right now, and then your tax margins go up and your income went down because you lost a little bit of Social Security, but yet you don't want to change the way that you live. So you still need your income. So taxes are an anchor that is not a good anchor, right? It's sinking to the bottom.
Right.
And keeps going up and your accounts keep growing and the tax percentage you have to pull out keeps going up. And then if Uncle Sam and the government decide, hey, we're going to raise your marginal tax brackets, it gets uglier. So we want to make sure working on this tax plan is upfront. We're very diligent and we're going to be very personal about it. And we're going to be very honest, like, should you or shouldn't you? And here's the outlook in 20 years and 30 years. If you happen to live that long, like, how much do you really want to get back to Uncle Sam? But right now, taxes are on sale. So why wouldn't we take care of that business now? So I did a really great class in the Villages the other day, and every single person was on their edge of their seats. I was on fire that day. That was probably one of my best shows, my best workshops I've done in a long time, because I was just hit with a client that got hit with this legacy problem and their parents didn't do anything. And now they're stuck with the bill. So now I'm having to retweak my tax plan with them. It's not fair, but it is what it is. So we can plan, but if you don't plan at all, where does that lead you? It leads you nowhere. So starting a little bit of planning will go a long way. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars to Uncle Sam, in my opinion. There's
a difference between Uncle Sam's plan and your plan. And when we talk about paying taxes, we all know we have to pay our taxes, but we don't have to overpay our taxes. If there was, there's 75,000, 100,000 pages in that tax code, and I don't know all of them. I don't know any of them. And I know Charisse doesn't know them all either, but we know the ones that can help you. And to limit that tax burden in your retirement years is something we're really going to drill down on. Give us a call. Give us a look on our website, zinniawealth.com, ZINNIA wealth.com. There's a gold box there. It says complimentary retirement consultation. If you click on that, you'll be on your way, or just give us a call at 833-368-3680.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Coffee Talk podcast. If you have questions or would like to begin the process of building a tailored retirement plan, call Zinnia Wealth at 833-368-3680 or find us online at zinniawealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. The firm only conducts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded from registration requirements. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Insurance products are offered through Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC, Florida license L078655, and Charisse Rivers, Florida license P037744. Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, and Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC are affiliated entities. The information presented is believed to be current. It should not be viewed as personalized investment advice. All expressions of opinion reflect the judgment of the presenter on the date of the podcast and are subject to change. The information presented is not an offer to buy or sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy or sell any of the securities discussed. You should consult with a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies discussed. Any legal or tax information provided in this podcast is general in nature. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation. Any client experience discussed on this show are unique to that client. Annuity and life insurance guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. If you withdraw money from or surrender your contract within a certain time after investing, the insurance company may assess a surrender charge. Withdrawals may be subject to tax penalties and income taxes. Persons selling annuities or other insurance products receive compensation for these transactions. These commissions are separate and distinct from fees charged for advisory services. Insurance products also contain additional fees and expenses. Social Security rules and regulations are subject to change at any time. Always consult with your local Social Security office before acting upon any information provided herein. References to specific investments should not be construed as being past specific recommendations. The returns for various indices discussed in this podcast do not represent the performance of the firm or any of its advisory clients. Returns do not reflect the impact that advisory fees will have on an investment. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All investment strategies have potential for profit or loss. Different types of investments involve higher and lower levels of risk. There is no guarantee that a specific specific investment strategy will be suitable or profitable for an investor's portfolio. Historical performance returns for investment indexes and/or categories usually do not deduct transaction and/or custodial charges or advisory fees, which would decrease historical performance results. There are no guarantees that a portfolio will match or outperform a specific benchmark. Investments in fixed income products are subject to liquidity risk, market risk, index rate risk, credit risk, inflation risk, purchasing power risk, and taxation risk. Because bond prices fluctuate continually, their yields change constantly.